Welcome back, viewers, to the final race of the day here at round 4 of the Elite Karting Series at Daytona Tamworth. I'm going to hand over now to our commentator, Tom Dillon.
15 minutes worth of a feature race ahead of us, and it's Andrew McWilliam who starts on pole position with 47 points out of the first 2 races. Jamie Sheerman-Chase starts alongside him in second on 36 points. It was only a point gap between him and Ollie Smith, who starts in third. Luke Dodman alongside him on row 2 on 34. Matthew Bolton is our heavyweight in 5th. He was tied on points with Oscar Lee, fastest lap, the tiebreaker there. Oscar Lee starting in 6th, of course. Row 4 is Joe Greenhall and JJ Hind, also a tiebreaker on fastest lap. There between those two, with Callum Bengelow and Dana Rohan in 9th and 10th. Just outside of the top 10 is Carlos Elmanis with Louis Draper in 12th. Henry Barrington starts in 13th with Hassan Ali in 14th. Terry Battersby returns for the feature race after not taking part in race 2. He starts in 15th. It's going to be Andrew on the inside line, of course. It's Jamie Sheerman-Chase starting alongside of him. We're rolling start again. No aborted starts this time. And into the pits goes our pace kart. When the green flag flies, we'll be racing at Tamworth. And there we go, green flag does fly. It's a good start from Andrew McWilliam, not quite able to get alongside is Ollie Smith as they go down into turn 1. It's almost 3 wide. Matthew Bolton getting involved. Oscar Lee trying to get up into 4th, I believe, and Oscar Lee won't quite get into 4th. Matthew Bolton gets just ahead of him. Of course, Matthew, as we mentioned, in the heavyweight category, so we're keen to see how he gets on throughout the course of this race. 15 minutes are ahead of us, and I can see that there's more battles going on. Joe Greenhall, as we said, normally our photographer here, 2021 Milton Keynes 24-hour champion, is making his moves. He's now pressurising Oscar Lee for 7th position, I believe. Trying to count it on my fingers, but anyway, Ollie Smith now trying to attack Jamie Sheerman-Chase, and indeed goes down the inside. He'll want to find some of that pace that he found in the first race again, but not on this occasion. It's a good defence from Jamie Sheerman-Chase. Can Bolton do anything? It's a late dive for Dodman, who goes down the inside and barges his way through on Matthew Bolton. I think just about within the limits of what's acceptable under the rules there. As I can see as well, Louis Draper is trying to attack Henry Barrington. Henry's had a bit of a difficult run to date, not quite able to pierce the top 5 just yet. JJ Hind has got places to make up, and indeed he makes up another one, and I think Callum Bengelow down into turn 4 as they sort of disappear from my view here in the box. Andrew McWilliam, slightly unsurprisingly, after that fantastic second race, finishing 16 seconds ahead of everybody, is up in first at the moment, and well, pulling away a fairly sizable gap. I think Ollie Smith knows the importance of getting past Jamie Sheerman-Chase. We have got yellow flags flying as someone is round, and I believe it's Terry Battersby down into turn 4. Here goes Ollie Smith, then Luke Dodman goes down the inside again. It's a very late dive, and he barges Ollie Smith out of the way, who's now under pressure from Matthew Bolton, looking to the inside line, and Ollie Smith just able to get ahead of him. So Luke Dodman being very aggressive at the moment in this race and moves himself up into 3rd. We've still got yellow flags covering turn 4 because Terry is into the barrier, and they're trying to get that cleared. Or indeed, is it turn 6, I wonder? I think it's turn 6, not turn 4 actually, which is why they were still racing down into turn 4. Both of those corners now covered under yellow flags. As the field make their way past Terry, who has got to wait a little bit, waving the flag like the Buckmore Park race marshal he is well, he's going to have to get back going in a minute, but I'm afraid to say a lap down on the field. Luke Dodman then, his eyes focused on Jamie Sheerman-Chase ahead, but we have got a full course yellow in force, so no overtaking just yet, and it is confirmed on the gantry to our left hand side. Ollie Smith puts his hand up to acknowledge and let the drivers know behind, so we are under effectively neutralised race conditions at the moment whilst they get Terry out of that barrier. And well, you can hear the slight whir of the half race speed of these D-Max karts.
The engine in Terry's kart had in fact seized, causing the rear axle to lock and send him spinning off into the barriers. We went full course yellow so that his kart could be recovered and so a new kart could be brought out to him, and whilst this happened the race time was paused. So we now rejoin the action 3.5 minutes later.
So we should be having a green flag momentarily. They've just got to wait for the marshals to get back to their posts, and then we can go to green flag. There we go, green flag flies back at Tamworth, and immediately I can see Joe Greenall is looking for a position on Oscar Lee as they go down into turn 3. It's all sorts of squabbles going on through there. Is that JJ Hind trying to follow them through? I think it is. Down the inside he goes and gets himself up yet another spot. Luke Dodman still stuck behind Jamie Sheerman-Chase. Jamie doing a good job to defend, but there goes Luke down the inside once again. It's yet another aggressive move, and Luke Dodman gets himself up into second position. He will be keen to get this race win, I am sure, though in the first and a second place. I think Andrew, all he would have to do here is pretty much finish in the top 3, top 5 even, and he'll still pick up the overall trophy as there's bumping all over the place, and Henry Barrington gets a fairly big shove from Louis Draper and puts his arm in the air in frustration. Louis Draper goes through though and can now have a look at Oscar Lee. Oscar Lee is a very proficient indoor karter. I know that's where he's done the bulk of his karting, I believe, but he also races here as well and is doing a fairly good job in the EKS at the moment. Andrew is gaining though on Luke Dodman, 1.6 seconds as they cross the line. And is that Joe Greenall under pressure again? I believe it is, and through goes Dana Rohan, I think. Joe is going to try and hold this back down the inside, to which he's unable to do. So Dana goes through. He can now attack Matthew Bolton, I should say. And Matthew, who, as we said, is driving for a little bit of fun and for overall positions here. He knows that, well, he's finishing well in the lightweights. Finally getting to race them after a couple of heavyweight separated grids. JJ Hind is now attacking Joe Greenall as they go down into turn 1. 7 minutes left in the race. It looks like we aren't going to have any time added, so it will just be 7 minutes. In fact, it's saying 8 minutes. We have had a little bit of time added there, unless there's just been an adjustment on the screen. But back to that battle between JJ Hind and Joe Greenall. Joe at the moment is holding on to JJ, who was initially not actually supposed to be racing in this one. I think he was doing a race at Buckwell Park, but instead has come to EKS to try and further fights for his championship positions. Dana Rohan pressurising Matthew Bolton. Let's keep an eye on that as they go down into turn 10. And he's very, very close indeed. Might even have a go into turn 12. He won't. He's not too far behind, but now here goes Ollie Smith out of nowhere trying to attack Jamie Sheerman-Chase. He wasn't quite able to find it into turn 12. Dana Rohan going alongside Matthew Bolton will try and go for a fearless move into turn 3, and Matthew sensibly gives him the space as they go past the choke point and into turn 3. Henry Barrington has been slightly dropped as well by Louis Draper, losing about a second and a half, I think. So the battle at the front of the pack, the order at the front of the pack is still Andrew McWilliam leading Luke Dodman by 2.1 seconds. And then further behind, it is Jamie Sheerman-Chase and Ollie Smith who are still battling here. Ollie Smith not quite able to find the space to overtake Jamie Sheerman-Chase just yet, but certainly will fancy his chances into the last 7 minutes of this race. Ollie Smith to the inside. There he goes into the kink and they make contacts, and Jamie Sheerman-Chase almost goes into the wall. He'll hold it down into turn 12, looks behind. Dana's trying to follow him through on the inside line. It's like NASCAR with a 2-lane racing. The number 116 cars has got a track limit warning. And that is Henry Barrington. And we've gone back to yellow flags as what has happened down into turn 4 is where the flags are. I can't see anyone who's gone around. But, well, there you go. We've got yellow flags for the time being. I think they're going to get cleared. Oh, down into turn 4. It's Terry, I think. Turn 3 even. He's gone into the barrier. I think it's Terry Battersby. And we've gone back. Not quite full course yellow just yet, but turn 1, 2 and 3 all covered by full course yellows. They go green through 4, passing the incident. Andrew McWilliam isn't exactly pulling a huge gap to Luke Dodman. But Dana Rohan now is up into 4th position and now has a podium just ahead of him, and it's Jamie Sheerman-Chase. So Dana is on a fantastic race, and well, they'll pass through the no overtaking zone of 1, 2 and 3 whilst they dig that kart out of the barrier. I think indeed it is Terry. Quite difficult to see the little dot on the screen. He'll wait for everyone to pass, of course, before he goes back around. It's Dana definitely wanting that position as soon as possible, really. Jamie Sheerman-Chase holding on to it at the moment. And that really, as well, is the main battle we've got on the racetrack. Ollie Smith goes down the inside of Dana Rohan. Dana's going to lose a position. He's caught unawares by your race 1 winner. And Ollie Smith goes through, and now Matthew Bolton battling with Joe. Joe on the outside, now to the inside. Who's that following through? I think that is Carlos Albanis, who goes through, trying to get past Joe. It's going to be 3 wide as they go down into turn 10. Matthew Bolton gets the best of it, but Carlos all the way around the outside. He won't get the speed to do it. Callum Benjamin is getting involved as well. Matthews into the barrier and through. Threading the needle is Carlos. What a move. Move of the day. And he's very happy about that one. Move of the day as he makes his way up into 6th position. I think I'll wait for it to update on the timing screen. Indeed, it is 6th in that 104 car, but it's not quite over yet. Joe goes down the inside of Callum Benjalo, and I think as well Dana Rohan, but it's Matthew Bolton actually. So that's a fantastic move from him as well. Dana, I apologise, is up in 4th at the moment, trying to battle with Ollie Smith. So Ollie getting past him at the moment. 5th position, fairly good from Dana at the moment actually. He's had a good weekend quietly, has Dana. 2022 in-karts champion here in the Sodis. Oscar Lee now looking at Joe Greenall. Oh, Joe goes almost round. He's almost spun it in the barrier, does well to keep it out. It's a well-controlled slide, but it won't do anything for him in terms of losing the position, as Henry almost gets it all wrong as well. That was a huge slide from Henry Barrington. Down to my right-hand side into turn 12. There's your order with 5 minutes left in the race. Is Andrew McWilliam leading from Luke Dodman. Then it is Jamie Sheerman-Chase. That is your top 3, but it's been fantastic racing so far. Is that Matthew Bolton back down the inside of Oscar Lee? I think it is, and that is Matthew Bolton back into 8th position. That checks out on the timing screens as well, but still impressed by Almanis, who has driven very, very well in this race and is now chasing down Dana Rohan as Ollie Smith himself is chasing down Jamie Sheerman-Chase. Sheerman-Chase down into turn 12. We'll know that these carts are behind him. Ollie Smith, maybe one last chance. I think they'll throw the checker on this occasion as Andrew McWilliam falls through the final corner. And here he goes, takes the checker flag to make it an overall victory in EKS at Tamworth. Jamie Sheerman-Chase trying to hold on to the podium ahead of Ollie Smith. And how important could this be for the points battle overall in this? Jamie Sheerman-Chase holds on to it. And now I want to look at Almanis versus Benjalo. Benjalo is going to hold on to that position. It's a great drive to 6th for him. And we'll get your overall results confirmed in a moment's time as Louis Draper crosses the line. Henry Barrington will be next. He makes his way through turn 1. And fantastic racing in the 15-minute third race of the day and the final race of the day as well. So Andrew McWilliam wins ahead of Luke Dodman. The 108 cards of Jamie Sheerman-Chase is in 3rd. Ollie Smith recovers well to 4th. Dana Rohan finishes in a fantastic 5th position for him. His 2nd top 5 finish of the day. Callum Benjalo finishes in 6th with the 7 car, the 104 cars, I apologise, of Carlos Albanis in 7th. Matthew Bolton finishes 8th with Oscar Lee in 9th. Joe Greenall is in 10th with Louis Draper in 11th. Henry Barrington in 12th. Hassan Ali in 13th. JJ Hine finishing in 14th. Didn't quite see what happened to JJ throughout the course of that race. Must have got it a little bit wrong, but Terry Battersby finishes in 15th.
This is the impact that then had on the overall results. So Andrew McWilliam, courtesy of those dominant displays in race 2 and the feature race, ended up taking home a near perfect score of 72 points. This got him both the overall victory and has now given him the championship lead. Luke Dodman and Jamie Sheerman-Chase ended up tying for second position on 56 points, and it ended up going down to who set the faster lap time, with Luke taking it by 0.015 seconds. There really was nothing in it. Ollie Smith came home in a close 4th overall, only 2 points off of second, and had it not been for getting unlucky in race number 2, I'm sure he would have got onto the overall podium. Oscar Lee ended up coming home in P5, with Callum Bendelow getting a record high finish of 6th. Dana Rohan similarly got a record high finish in 7th place, with Joe Greenhill on debut coming home in 8th. Carlos Amanis also on his series debut ended up coming home in 9th place, with Henry Barrington then rounding out the top 10. Louis Draper, who raced in our inaugural event last year, raced for the first time this season and finished in 11th overall ahead of JJ Hine, who got really unlucky throughout the event and ended up finishing in 12th. Hassan Ali ended up coming home in 13th on his debut, with Matthew Boulton taking full points in the heavyweight class. Almost all the heavyweight drivers were missing today through one reason or another, mainly due to holiday, and then Terry Batterby ended up running out the field in 2nd overall in the heavyweights. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed watching these videos so far this season. The support has been amazing on them, to be honest. I've loved making them, and they've been getting so much support. It's been brilliant. So I hope you have enjoyed watching these. We're going into a little bit of a summer break now. We've got 6 weeks off, and we'll be back for round number 5 at Sandown Park on the 20th of August. We'll see you then.